I'd like to invite Gellan Rickth up to the podium, and he's going to talk about aging gay men and the importance of sexual role models. So Gellan, welcome.
Well, hello. I feel like I'm a little bit in my old Southern Baptist church with everybody on the back row. I'm going to start with an email that was sent to me a while back. It says, "Hello, Dr. Rickth. I am a 78-year-old out gay man. For 30 years, I was committed to my loving partner, although about 15 years into the relationship, we stopped having sex. He's now died, been 10 years or so, and I have very little sex since then. I can get hard and orgasm when I'm alone watching porn, but I have never been able to stay hard or come in the presence of another, not even my long-term partner. I figure that most of this is psychological, but I've never really known how to solve it. I am now dating a new gentleman, and we have slept together a couple of times, but it is like all the rest. I'm wondering why I even go to the trouble of getting close to someone when I'm only going to disappoint them because I can neither get erect nor come. Can you help?" Well, there's a lot of moving parts in that brief statement, and as a community of researchers and sexual health professionals, I'm sure that any of you could address certain aspects of his concerns, but I'm here to tell you about what I do. As they said, I'm Gellan Rickth. I have a master's in public health and a doctorate of education in sexology. Beyond that, I have any myriad numbers of certifications and advanced trainings, a sexual surrogacy training, a sacred intimate training, even shiatsu and Swedish massage, tantric and erotic massage, consensual touch training, trauma-based training having to do with touch, a whole and more than that. As I said, though, sexual health and support is a team effort. What I often find missing in this team, though, is a person who can help a client manage their overall sexual health and also function in some ways as a coach, a sexual doula, if you will, a consensual, hands-on adult sex ed mentor, so to speak, a role model. But not one that projects just perfection, because that ideal none of us are going to measure up to. It's despite my imperfections that I choose to authentically share and guide. Someone who can take a client by the hand, look them in the eye, and compassionately say, "You don't have to do this by yourself. Let's do this together, and let me show you how it's done." Like this client that I read the email from. When he came to work with me, I sent him off to the doctor to get his testosterone checked and help him explore pharmaceutical options. I got him into some therapy to deal with the emotional well-being, but I got to be the one to be there for him, and not just to look at the isolation patterns that he had and say, "Oh, you shouldn't do that." No. We could start there. We could work with that. We could honor what was already working well for him and then gradually expand it so that over time he had a whole variety of options and arousals, all in the context of yummy sexual pleasure. That's right. That's what we're here for, right? Sexual pleasure, to maximize that. Now, benefiting from role models is nothing outrageous or nothing new. In any field of study, in any skill you would like to develop, knitting, baseball, computer programming, we all know that having a one-on-one personal experience with someone that supports you can be greatly transforming. Yet, when it comes to our sexuality here in this society, oh my gosh, the stigmas, the fear, the resistance is just so ingrained, as you know. And I wonder sometimes if that's perhaps why so many sex workers over time have in some ways functioned like a sexual mentor, even as far back as the dawn of time. But today, we don't have to to be at the mercy of these stigmas anymore. We can be proud, and in fact, there is no shame in our sexual health. Indeed, I have offered various workshops over my career, retreats, doing different things. But since the pandemic, the interest of older gay men wanting hands-on coaching and camaraderie has erupted. I and other sex professionals have offered all kinds of retreats and all kinds of experiences, everything from consensual erotic massage to how to be a good top, to how to be a good bottom, and even just good anal health care. And I'm not just saying that we just talk about it, or maybe we get them to use a pill or something like that. All of that is very helpful. But what they're looking for is a more hands-on approach. That's the piece of the puzzle that they feel is often missing in their lives. So you can imagine that these kinds of workshops, I can't necessarily facilitate them at the local Hyatt Conference Center. But that does bring up a big important point. Just to find safe locations to create these transformative experiences, it is extremely hard. It is very rare, mainly because of all the kinds of prejudice and discrimination and fear. And we as sex professionals in this career, that is just the tip of the iceberg. We are constantly dealing with that. As you know, I'm probably preaching to the choir here. Yet the results and the benefits of this kind of work is incredible. I have seen time and again people transform because someone is willing to be there for them in their most precious and intimate moments. And then that enables them to take those experiences back to their partner, back to their loved ones, and on and on. It's like another client who contacted me. He had seen my work, and while he was on vacation in Palm Springs, where I'm from, he wanted to meet for a very special reason, because the day he got back from his vacation, he was going to have his prostate removed. And he wanted to have one big last ejaculation at my hands. What an honor. So when the day arrived, we checked in about consent and boundaries. He knew that this surgery was not the end of his sexuality, but it was definitely a new chapter. We even chatted about how some men can have even more full-body orgasms after their prostate is removed. So I designed a ritual that began with an undressing and getting our bodies in sync. We got our sexuality, our sexual energy building. We edged back and forth, up and down, and eventually he had an incredible orgasm, but right at the height of it, he just burst into tears. And I have to be honest, I shed a few tears too, as my brother celebrated and grieved the changes in his sexuality. He didn't have to do it alone. He could have a professional there guiding him and beside him. Quite frankly, I've now facilitated several prostate going away parties where a group of sexual companions get together and we have a big party to celebrate their brother's prostate and the coming changes. It's beautiful, it's sexy, it's life-affirming, and no one has to do this alone. So if I were to say anything to you, to kind of leave with you, I want to affirm you and say, keep talking about sex. Don't stop talking about the positives of sexual health. All of it, in your research, in your practice, in what you did last night, what you fantasize about in the future, it all needs to be talked about. And the more we talk about it, the more we are advancing the conversation into bigger and deeper sexual satisfaction. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thanks for listening.